The first myth of domestic violence is that drugs and alcohol can cause domestic violence. The reality is, domestic violence causes domestic violence. At times, drugs and alcohol can be a catalyst for an attack, but it is not the end-all be-all in what causes the violence itself. At the end of the day, the violence itself is at fault of the perpetrator.
Myth number 2 is if it was that bad, they would leave. The reality is, people stay in abusive relationships for many different reasons, and it can be very difficult to leave an abusive partner, even if they want to. Leaving is the most dangerous time for a victim of abuse. They may fear their own lives, but also the lives of their children. They may have nowhere to go and also have no financial resources to leave. Abusers often isolate their partners from family and friends to control them, making it even more difficult to leave the relationship. People in abusive relationships need support and not judgment.
Myth number 3, domestic violence always includes physical violence. But in reality, domestic violence is not only just physical violence, it includes harassment, online stalking, financial abuse, sexual abuse. There's many forms of abuse that perpetrators do use to control their partners and significant others.
The fourth myth that we want to address today is the myth that somehow a victim of domestic violence has provoked the violence by their abuser. This is a really dangerous myth. The reality is that for victims, they are never responsible for violence that has been perpetrated upon them. And it's dangerous because if we put that responsibility on the part of victims, we are not holding people accountable for their own behaviors and choices that they're making to become abusive to another person.